Hey cuties, what's up? We're back with some more reactions after dark, and we're of course going to be watching Disturbing Horrors of Mexico, Volume 1. Now I know I still need what, Japan 2 and 3, maybe even 4, but if we're gonna do Mexico now, of course we are still in meta, of course, so we're in VR. Today we're in the modern movie theater. I think this is all of them except for the sci-fi one. I haven't gone to the sci-fi one, but there's no real reason to hang out in the sci-fi one yet. Also got this popcorn over here. You know how hard it is to place that without spilling it, as well as the soda. The soda doesn't really matter, right? You can just do whatever with that, and it'll be fine. But we are going to go ahead and get into this. Of course, no hater segment today. No one's really said anything in quite a while. I mean, that's just par for the course of the channel. Don't get hate comments that often. Same thing with a radical break. I mean, we're already in VR, so there's no radical break for today. So I'm just going to get into a quick video today. It's only, what, like half an hour? Yeah, 26 minutes. It's going to be like 20 minutes sped up. So we can just get straight into it now. Don't know if this has like, oh wait, hold on, before we get started, I forgot. We gotta come over here and dim the lights. There we go. So that the thing is casting on the room like that. There you go. You're welcome. Interesting choice of like in music. Usually there's like, I don't want to say happy, but like kind of cheerful local music, but no, we just have like a guitar strumming, kind of moody-esque, which I feel like isn't how these videos usually are. They're usually not this moody, right? It's more fun. I mean, what we're going to be watching is going to be fun, but this early song that correlates to the location that's being talked about usually isn't like a moody, depressing sound, is what I'm trying to say.
In small towns and mid-sized cities across Mexico, most people find work the same way. Someone posts a job listing on Facebook. Maybe it's a local employment group. Maybe it's on a community page. Receptionist needed. Job clerk wanted. Weekend errands. Good pay, no experience required. You send a message, and you get a response within hours. You suggest meeting at a cafe, a hotel lobby, and somewhere public. And because it's public, because there will be other people around, because the listing looks normal, you go. In the spring of 20...
Is that B-roll of Mexico? Is there places that look like that in Mexico? I mean, of course there is, but I don't know what cities look like. Just a standard city like that. Like a bustling metropolis, is that what you would call it?
22, at least 7 women in Mexico followed that same script. They answered Facebook job listings. They met someone in public. They took one small step closer to a second location, a private space, somewhere where eyes and ears dropped away. And they would never come home. The man behind those listings had been operating for nearly a decade. Multiple names, multiple profiles, and it was always the same method. And by the time authorities connected the cases, and by the time they would make the arrest, most of those women were already dead. Evelyn Ramirez was 22 years old, an 8th semester industrial engineering student, studying at a college about 2 hours south of Mexico City. She was about to graduate, and she was looking ahead to her future. And just like a lot of students trying to cover expenses while finishing school, she needed part-time work. On March 22nd, 2022, Evelyn posted in the Facebook job group, "I'm looking for work, only on weekends, Saturday and Sunday." 4 days later, someone responded. The profile looked legitimate, with photos, friends, and activity. The job offer was straightforward. Weekend work, decent pay, flexible hours. It was exactly what Evelyn was looking for. They would arrange to meet on March 24th at Italian Coffee, a cafe in the center of a busy public plaza. Evelyn told her family where she was going. She would send messages to her father and her boyfriend that morning. And around mid-morning, she left her house for that interview.
Okay, so everybody knows where she's going. Question mark, though. Of course, she's still gonna end up going missing, or of course murdered, we're assuming. I was expecting maybe like some cartel stuff, but is this gonna be just a straight up just serial killer? Question mark. Is that what we have here today? Which I don't know why it never even occurred to me that there would be serial killers in Mexico. It's not even anything that even crossed my mind that would exist for some reason. You know, because you just think of um, the cartel, right? Not necessarily the cartel, but there's the gang members, right? And that's it. I wouldn't even assume like serial killers exist, but I guess, of course, they have to everywhere. I mean, you hope they don't. They wouldn't exist anywhere. But I don't know why a serial killer didn't even cross my mind as a possibility in Mexico.
That would be the last time anyone heard from her. Surveillance cameras at Italian Coffee captured Evelyn's arrival in the early afternoon. She was seen talking with a man. They sat at a table, they talked for a while, and from the outside, it looks exactly what it's supposed to be, a job interview in a public place. And then they leave together, and according to witness accounts, they board a taxi. The destination is about 600 meters away. The story was that Evelyn would be working at a small business, helping with appointments and customer service, for about 1,500 pesos a week, roughly $76 USD. She got to the taxi thinking she was going to go see her new workplace, and she didn't know she was being driven to the place where she would die. 2 days later, on March 26, workers at a plant nursery made a call to authorities. They had found something on the edge of their property, black plastic bags that were heavy and abandoned in an empty lot, and inside of those bags was Evelyn's body, dismembered. The injuries were so severe, the identification required documents found near the scene and DNA testing to confirm. The Morelos State Prosecutor's Office opened a femicide investigation immediately, but they were starting from almost scratch.
Yeah, I thought in the corner down there, when they were showing her picture on the news, that it said that it was saying like femicide. But I was like, maybe it's Spanish, so maybe I don't know what they're actually saying. But yeah, it is in fact that. Which I don't know if I've heard that term used anywhere for these kind of thing. Where else is? Would you assume a serial killer going around, I don't know, killing a lot of women? Question mark. I don't think the term femicide has ever been used, oddly enough.
Job listing had already been deleted or edited, and it was a Facebook profile that could disappear within just a few clicks. It was a suspect who knew exactly how to stay ahead of the search. Meanwhile, in the coastal town of Veracruz, another woman was scrolling through Facebook looking for work. She was 31 years old, and she would receive a Facebook Messenger message from an account registered under the name Mary Madison. The message itself was professional, it was direct. Also, receptionist position available, 90 pesos per week, about $4.50 USD, with the duties of answering phones and making appointments. And once again, they arranged a meeting. They would meet, and she would go missing. And just 3 days later, the authorities would recover her body. Again, the condition was so severe, the identification came through an ID card found near the scene and DNA testing. And the method would repeat across cases. Facebook job listings targeting young women, profiles that look legitimate, photos, friends, activities. It was created specifically for recruiting these victims. They would meet in busy public locations. They would request to move somewhere more private after the initial meeting. And once the victim agreed to go to that second location, their communication with their family completely stopped. The investigation itself would expand extremely fast. Authorities reached out to these places for any type of lead they can get. And eventually, activists started digging into the past. They found an article from 2013 from Veracruz newspaper. The article described the arrest of a man named Greg Villalobos. At that time, was 28 years old, who had been arrested back in 2012 for contacting young women with fake job offers, locking them in an office, and essaying them. The article itself listed several aliases, and it would be the same aliases prosecutors were now using in 2022. This wasn't a new predator. This was someone who had been doing this for a decade. And finally, on June 1st, 2022, authorities detained him without incident. He was traveling with a female companion who was also arrested.
Because they're just able just to get him just without any issues just like that. Also, I noticed before too with him, they had like N or N underneath someone's name. And I didn't know if that was like an alias or what, just like the letter N, or that's just something about like Mexican law that I don't know about, just like putting an N after someone's name, or what, like I don't know.
According to investigators, he operated with at least 20 different Facebook profiles that contact potential victims. He would use profiles with names designed to appear legitimate, some even posing as women recruiters, others as business owners. And each profile had photos, friends, and interest, and even posts. Everything designed to look real, but each one was a trap. As of June 2024, the primary suspect remains in pre-trial detention, facing femicide and related charges, but proceedings are still ongoing.
Since June 2024, I mean, it is obviously 2026, question mark, so this video was uploaded, I would assume not that long ago, right? It had to be at least 2025, if not later than that, so we haven't got any new information 2 years later.
In the spring of 2022, at least 7 women in Mexico answered Facebook job listings that seemed legitimate. They met someone in public, they took one small step closer, and most of them never came home. The primary suspect is finally in custody. The cases are still moving through the courts, and the families are still waiting, some for trials, some for remains that haven't even been found. And still, across Mexico right now, thousands of people are scrolling through Facebook job groups, looking for work that would help them pay rent, finish school, and support their families. Luckily, most of those listings are real, but still, some could be traps. And the thing is, platforms like this helps us connect. They help us find work and build communities. They also magnify harm when someone learns how to exploit them. But unfortunately, in 2022, that harm had a face, multiple names, multiple profiles, and a method that worked for 10 years before anyone stopped it.
I was at the end of that. Yeah, I was just gonna still continue saying that. The Richie Diary. I don't know why it's never occurred to me that there could be serial killers in Mexico. Like, it's just, I guess you could argue, like, you don't think about them being anywhere, really, right? Other than wherever you live, but I don't know, just something about the idea of there being one in Mexico, it just never at all crossed my mind. I mean, I live in Texas, right? So I'm right next to Mexico. But it just, it's unfortunate. But again, it's not something I would have ever thought about. I mean, obviously you can consider the cartel to be serial killers, right? With how you look at it. Which is like a regular just dude who has no affiliation to any gangs. It's like, oh, they just have to deal with that too? Like, oof.
Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua.
We're in Chihuahua. And as usual, let's go ahead and forget this. Let's just throw that out there. We're gonna move to positions. Question mark. Over here to the other side. Because I like to move around when we're in the theaters to different places. I mean, we can do whatever we want, right? Since we have this all to our selves. I'm just going to go back so I can get rid of the soda and the popcorn.
The border city across from El Paso, where freight trains and buses set the rhythm of a day. A place of neon bars and desert wind. Late 1995, downtown, a trash can on a busy sidewalk. Vendors packing up, buses braking hard, shoe shiners stacking stools. Someone lifts the lid and pulls out an envelope tied with a string. Inside, 10 sheets of paper, pencil, careful block letters, a title of sorts. Then pages read like a confession: kidnappings, assaults, 15 murders described step by step. Crude drawings in the margins. At the bottom, a signature that wasn't quite a name.
Yeah, I don't know if I said it. This is the Richie Diary.
Richie. Police took the bundle and tried to match words on the page to bodies in the field. That year, recoveries had been made in Latte Bravo, where the wind doesn't stop and the ground turns to dust under your shoes. Some details overlapped, many didn't. The paper named no streets, no license plates, and no dates that could log to a report. There were no fingerprints, no hair caught in the fibers, just pencil marks and a pseudonym. Still, the diary fit a shape of a city already in crisis. Throughout the early and mid-1990s, young women had gone missing on their way to work, to school, to the bus stops on September 16th. Their families handed out flyers, and reporters filed stories that blurred together the same description, same trajectory.
Like what the murder of... Can't really tell what that is. Juarez? The murder of Juarez?
And same outcome. And in that atmosphere, 10 sheets pulled from a trash can felt like either a map or bait. Then came a second text. 1997. A single page, short, threatening, read in clumsy Spanish, again signed, Richie. It mentioned a birthday, a place to meet, the 2 girls, 13 and 14. It threatened what would happen if the addressee talked. When analysts put the new note beside the 1995 pages, the handwriting didn't match, the voice didn't match. If the first bundle was a diary, this one read like a plant, an attempt to point an investigation in a direction chosen by someone else. Names were floated. One suspect in the area, Abdul Latif Sharif, was accused publicly of being behind the killings. Then denied the diary outright, told authorities they were chasing the wrong man. Another name, whispered in.
I want to say, is this like the Zodiac? Zodiac killer, but for Mexico? Question mark. Probably not, right? But it kind of felt like the way as soon as we had the diary, and I was like, wait, is this kind of like their own Zodiac situation?
Printed in later reporting. Alejandro Menes, a figure tied in rumor to protected circles, the ghost of a suspect who was talked about more than he ever was brought into a courtroom. The truth is simpler and harder. Neither man was proven to be Richie, and the pages themselves were never authenticated beyond the story of where they were found. Investigators tried to figure it out anyway. Did any detail in the text match a recovery in Latte Bravo? Did any drawing echo a scene a detective had seen and not released to the press? If you take a step back, the larger picture is unavoidable. Juarez, in the 1990s, was a city under overlapping pressures: rapid growth, cross-border economies, police units stretched thin, corruption allegations that never quite resolved. And in that landscape, a diary could become a legend faster than a file could become a prosecution. So what exactly do we know? A bundle of pages was found in late 1995. It turned over to authorities. The text claimed responsibility for multiple murders. It carried the signature Richie. Richie never became.
What if the person who handed over the bundle of papers to the police was the person who made the bundle themselves? Question mark. Is that like the perfect crime situation? Like, you're the one who did this, but you just act like, hey, I found this suspicious nonsense in the trash. I'm gonna hand it over to the police. So you're hiding in plain sight. And so it's like, whoever turned those papers in needs to be investigated. I mean, obviously they probably did that, but they didn't. I'd be like, who gave you these papers? Are you sure that wasn't them trying to seem like an innocent bystander?
A person you could arrest. The diary itself never became evidence that could stand on its own. And what's left is a city that had to live with both the pages and the losses.
I mean, that's all it is, because it's just something that was unsolved, right? Hot air balloon accident.
On Sunday, May 11th, 2025, the first balloon festival opened as part of the Enrique Estrada Fair in Zacatecas. Crews were on the launch field before sunrise, rolling out wicker baskets and envelopes across a grid of tarps. Portable fans came on first to cold inflate the fabric. Burners were tested in brief spurts. Short, controlled flames meant to check the igniter, the pilot's light, and the main valves. Spectators gathered along temporary barriers to watch the routine that turns nylon and air into flight.
Do we still do hot air balloons? Question mark. I mean, I didn't catch what this date was, but do we even still do them? Like, are they a waste of resources or no? And are they like so dangerous that it's not really worth doing anymore? Question mark. As we're probably gonna find out here, with whatever ends up happening in this situation, like, it's just like inefficient and unsafe to keep doing these kinds of things.
By 7:45 a.m., several balloons were in different stages of preparation. On one stand, a ground crewman on the ground line steadied an envelope as it rose from its side.
I say that because I feel like there's like a lot of like balloon tragedies potentially in history? Question mark. Not talking about like I don't remember what they're called. You know, like Hindenburg. I'm not talking about like that kind of stuff, right? But it's like a regular hot air balloons.
The pilot called for heat. The burner roared. The envelope rounded out and began to stand upright. The basket held 3 people, and from a distance, it looked like a textbook takeoff sequence. But at roughly 8 a.m., something changed. Cell phone videos from the crowd shows flame where it shouldn't be. It was near the skirt of the envelope in the basket rim, and was followed by a fast spread of fire up to the lower panels. Shouts went up. Someone yelled to shut the burner. Ground crew ran up with extinguishers. As the fabric took flame, the balloon still generated lift. The basket rose a few feet, and then a few more. 2 occupants managed to get clear in the first seconds of the emergency. Their exits are visible in the witness footage. They scramble over the gunnel. They drop to the grass. Helpers pulling them back. A third man, identified by officials as the operator, remained engaged with the aircraft. In the confusion, he became entangled with a line between the balloon. Whether it was a tether, a drop line, or the crown line that pulled down toward the basket, the effect was the same. As the envelope lifted, it carried him with it.
Kind of look like the balloon is crumbling already, but I guess not.
The video captures the sequence in stark detail. The envelope, now burning more heavily, climbs just above tree height. The line goes taut, and for a few seconds, the man dangles below the basket, ripping the rope as heat and smoke rose around him. And then, the line shifts, and the man falls. Bystanders rush toward where he lands. First responders.
Yeah, I didn't know how that was going to turn out right. I was like, is it just going to keep going up and up like the balloon? Like, finally gives way and the whole thing falls down? Or what does it go away? I mean, like, is it just going to be like with the whole basket sets on fire and there's nothing he can do? But jump out or try to hang on to what's left that isn't gonna, melt his hands, or is he just gonna fall from whatever he's caught on, and then that's snapping, right? I think that's what happened. Like whatever he was caught on snapped, and he fell over.
Already en route,
Fell down.
arrive within minutes. Fire crews focus on 2 tasks at once: suppress the remaining flames on the fabric and hardware, and clear a path for medics to reach the injured. Paramedics treated 2 people for burns, consistent with brief exposure to flame at close range. But unfortunately, the man who fell was pronounced dead from his injuries. By mid-morning, Izaki...
I mean, like he fell from the sky, so you'd assume that he was gonna make it. I mean, sometimes maybe you can survive high falls. I don't know how, but I think 1% chance, maybe less than 1%, but it might happen. Fortunately, not for this guy, I guess.
Tech Security General confirmed the fatality and announced the state prosecutor's office would open an investigation. Organizers stated the balloon was privately operated and had previously passed safety checks. The festival continued that afternoon, subdued. Several balloon operators voluntarily grounded their aircraft until investigators could examine the wreckage and issue a preliminary...
Really? They still did this whole setup? Even after someone, like even after a couple people got burned and a guy died? Like, oh yeah, a guy died. It doesn't matter. Let's continue the events. Like, what?
finding. And visitors who had traveled from across central Mexico walked past empty launch sites. The morning's tragedy casted a shadow over what was meant to be a celebration of flight. In the days that followed, investigators worked toward conclusions about equipment failure, pilot error, or procedural oversight. But for those who witnessed the accident, spectators with cell phones, ground crews with extinguishers, and children who came to watch color lift into a clear sky, the lesson was imminent and stark. And the festival, planned as annual tradition, postponed indefinitely.
Mexico clowns. I could not tell you what this is. This is the last, I don't know what you call this, last story? I don't know. Last segment of this video. No clue what we're going to be talking about. Like actual clowns? Or is it going to be more sinister than that? Like what? It's just like Mexican clowns. I mean, Mexico clowns.
In late 2023, a 9-second TikTok clip began circulating that showed a man dancing in a clown costume.
Hey, you can barely see him. But what is in his hands? A child? Because I see there's a child, right there, maybe? Question mark? So what needs to be censored so heavily? Other than maybe he's just a child, so he doesn't want to show a child.
While carrying a box with the outline of a human body inside.
Okay, so it's a box with the body in. It must be what I would assume was saying earlier. A child, right? If it's an outline, then it's a clear, see-through box.
At first glance, it looked like a Halloween gag. The camera framed it tightly. Music played. The performer waved to the crowd. The clips...
Oh, it's not. It's a freaking plastic tub, like box, but there's no lid on it. The lid's open. That even should have censored even more, because that right there looks like blood.
Right quickly because the illusion was convincing. And for a portion of viewers, it was just a dark joke. But for many others, especially in Mexico, the image landed differently. The costume did not read as a simple carnival prop. It echoed something very real. On October 18th through the 19th, 2013, Francisco Rafael Arellano Felix, the eldest brother of the Tijuana cartel leadership, was shot and killed during a family event in Cabo San Lucas. Witnesses and officials say the gunman was disguised in a clown costume and fled after the attack. The details verified across multiple...
Was that clown that just walked right supposed to be in?
...outlets, and became the defining feature of the case. And the killer's identity was never publicly confirmed. In the years that followed, the clown disguise became a reference point in Mexican crime reporting and public memory. Professional clown associates condemned the murder and stressed that the costume had been a cover chosen by a gunman, not a reflection of their trade. Online, a second thread took shape. Criminal groups in Mexico, like armed groups elsewhere, have occasionally used masks and props in intimidation videos. A rotating visual language designed to shock, to brand their message, and to also hide their identities. And clown masks are very present in that mix.
Yeah, I've never heard of Mexico using clown masks to do crime like this or whatnot. I mean, obviously you have clown masks tied to robbery and whatnot, right? If nothing else, then the Payday games, right? Payday 1, 2, 3, yada yada. I think the clowns, whatever the heck do you want to call them, in the Payday games, they're using clown-esque masks to rob banks and stuff, right? But I've never heard of Mexico having like the symbol of a clown mask be something being used for crime, like other than the payday stuff. You're robbing a bank or something. This is actually like murder and whatnot.
alongside skull bandanas, balaclavas, and other disguises. Most viewers never see these clips directly, but headlines and summaries are enough to plant the association. A costume can be more than just a costume. And this was the context TikTok walked into. Those 9 seconds are built to feel a certain way, tight.
Yeah, but like, this is not the last one. It's just there's one after this one. So is the body fake? Because like censoring it, it's like weird. You're just censoring because it's kind of graphic.
Framing, steady bounce, a turn and reveal on the right beat. Its vibe is very deliberate, playful on the surface, but just unsettling enough to garner some type of attention. And what shook people wasn't just the prop itself, it was the feeling that it aimed for, landing on an audience that remembers a real murder carried out in a clown disguise, and years of mask intimidation videos.
I guess with that one, it's just context of people. Like it's tactless. Question mark. I guess we'll say violence at a kindergarten.
Nine years after the 1993 Santa Fe accident, another Mexican kindergarten became the site of a tragedy. This time, the cause was not mechanical failure. It was an intentional act. Ecatepec was home to thousands of working families. On a weekday morning in May 2002, children and teachers gathered outside the preschool for a daily flag ceremony,
2002.
an ordinary ritual of songs, pledges, and routine. Parents knew these ceremonies as moments of pride. Schools treated them as a way to build community. That morning, a 56-year-old local mechanic named Jose Luis Nieto confronted adults near the ceremony. He had complained that the gathering blocked access to his house and said his frustration has been building for months. Amateur videos captured part of the argument. It also captured what happened next.
Of this guy here who just walked up and like pointed. So the kids are like blocking the way. It's just go around them? Question mark. Like hello.
Nieto walked to his pickup truck, started the engine, and drove into the...
Okay, then he ran them over. Okay. I did not know where that was going. I thought he was just on foot. But he's in his car. They take another street then, right? Like sure, them being in the street is annoying and is I forget what you would call this. Yeah, I don't know what you'd call it. I forget. There's probably like a term for this. They're blocking the road, right? But again, just take a different road to go around. I don't know what would you to say other than like doing this, right? Just literally, what I'm assuming is running over a bunch of kindergartners. Like it's never that serious.
the crowd
It's
of
never
toddlers
going
and
to be that
teachers.
serious.
2 young children, just 2 and 3 years old, were killed. Around 20 other children and several adults were injured. Emergency responders took victims to nearby hospitals. Families who had sent their children to school for a routine ceremony found themselves at emergency rooms, police stations, and for some, funeral homes. Unlike the Santa Fe crash, there was no mystery about the cause. There was no failed brake system, no chain of bad luck. This was a deliberate attack. It demanded answers that mechanical reports cannot supply. How does someone decide to aim a vehicle at a group of children? And what turns a neighborhood dispute to violence against the most vulnerable? Nieto was detained and confessed to the attack. He told authorities he intended to retaliate against a teacher he believed had wronged him. But of course, his explanation did not justify the targeting of innocent children.
Is that it? Well, this is weird. Has he ever had a video that's just like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I thought that was gonna be the end, but then now we're on 6. There's just so many like short little ones here, and just like yeah, a guy ran over a kindergarten. Like, that one is just like I would like to know what would happen to him. Like, did he get life or death? Because I mean, he committed infanticide, right, twice in that situation, right? So I feel like you should get the death penalty. No ifs, ands, or buts about that at all. So some sort of earthquake for this last one. This one's been kind of like a mixed bag of different things. A serial killer. This is also maybe serial killer-esque, but more kind of Zodiac-ish, maybe. A mystery that's been unsolved. Just unfortunate accident with a hot air balloon. The clown one is also just weird. Then this guy. Well, he has a censored violence. I don't even see that. He's using a 1 as the I. I guess you can't write violence in your Your thing, you can't write killer either. The killer is written with a 1 as well. There's the stupid hoops that you got to go through on YouTube to not get in trouble with them. And now we have an earthquake. So we have like a mixed bag of all different sorts of unfortunate occurrences this time around from Mexico. I don't think any of the other videos have been like this, right?
On September 19th, 2017, a magnitude 7.1 earthquake struck central Mexico
Pretty bad.
after just 1 p.m. local time. In southern Mexico City, part of a private elementary and middle school collapsed, turning classrooms into rubble within seconds. Early reports put a toll at 21 children and 4 adults. The final count settled at 26 people, 19 children, 7 adults, making the school one of the most painful symbols of that day.
Why's it gonna be like more children? Like, can you catch a break?
Parents, neighbors, soldiers, and rescue teams converge on the site. Lines formed to pass buckets of debris by hand. Repeated calls for silence cut through the chaos as rescuers listened for voices. And news cameras captured moments where children were pulled alive from cavities in the wreckage.
Yeah, at least they got some of them.
Brief flashes of hope amid dust and sirens. And very quickly, the question changed from what happened to why this building even failed. Engineers examining the remains pointed to added weight extra floors and construction that accumulated over the years, with not enough steel reinforcement in the columns. And under the lateral forces of the quake, those weak vertical members cannot carry the load, and the structure pancaked. And accountability moved from the rubble to the courts. Monica Garcia Villegas, known as the media as Miss Moni, was arrested in 2019 after months on the run. In 2020,
on the run? What is she, the head of like not engineering, of construction or something? Like what the heck?
a Mexico City judge convicted her of manslaughter for the 26 deaths and sentenced her to 31 years in prison. The images and footage that remain are not just of the collapse, but the response of neighbors, forming human chains, firefighters, and Marines.
Yeah, like I'm confused. Like, who is she though? It's like, oh yeah, this woman was on the run. They got her and then convicted her of this, and she got 31 years. But who the heck is she? Is she the teacher at the school, or not teacher at school, like the principal, or part of the, what did you call them? The board of educators, we'll call it, because I don't remember what that's called. Like whoever's like at the top, maybe like even higher than the principal, like maybe like principal's here and they're up here. Whoever's up here, because is it the person who kept having these like the extra construction being done on the school to add more and more and more that ended up making it vulnerable and thus caused it to collapse under this earthquake? Or is she like head of the construction teams that did this to the school? Like who is she? You can't say, oh yeah, we blame it on this one, she's in jail. I think that's like the problem with this video. No offense to question on this one. Is like I was saying, there's a lot of mixed bag here, but there's a lot of like lack of info on top of that. Like this one, yeah, we actually got a sentencing real quick and how long it was and whatnot. But like I don't know who this woman is. Like who's this woman and why did they punish her? What was her involvement in this building that led to them saying it's her fault? It could be anything of what I named, right? You know, whoever was part of the construction team, who's head of the construction team, she could be head of the school, question mark. She could be someone part of the government who maybe wanted this to happen. Like, who is this woman? This one, I think, we didn't get a sentencing, I don't think, for this, did we? Yeah, we got no sentencing. It's just like, yeah, he did it. And that's it. The clown one didn't really go into much anything. It's just like, yeah, here's a video of a guy who's doing a tasteless joke about something that happened a while back, like a decade plus ago, with not much more info on that. The hot air balloon maybe was acceptable detail. We kind of just like, yeah, here's a cold case that was never solved. Not a lot of information on that one. And then this one, of course, the killer is what we got a lot on. But that one probably felt at least a little. Oh yeah, it didn't. It ended with they still haven't been, or he still hasn't been sentenced to something yet. So yeah, this one is a bit weird, right? Like again, the woman that got jailed there is a good example of what's going on with this video. Like, who is she? I need an explanation for who she is. Like maybe in this last few seconds he'll say, but
searches, medics kneeling in dust, and parents waiting with photographs.
No, that's it. That's the end of the video. But yeah, like who was that woman that they arrested? I swear, it's just like, yeah, this woman was on the run for a while, and they caught her and they arrested her. And she's getting 31 years for this building collapsing under an earthquake. I thought this was just gonna be just an unfortunate earthquake happened and destroyed a building and people died, but not. We're explicitly blaming this on a specific woman and then not explaining why it's her fault is weird. Question mark. I think he added too many things and didn't give enough explanation for the things in this one. Like, not to be too critical of the video, right? I'm the one watching the video, but I mean, this is a reaction, uh, and I don't typically. Well, I'm not. This is not like a standard reaction channel, right? Where I'm just going like, "Oh, that's so crazy! Wow, so sad," or "That makes me so mad," or "I'm going to cry," or "That's so funny, I'm going to laugh." Right? That's not this channel. I don't. That's not me. I just sit here and talk about what I'm seeing and give like opinions here, or like think about things, or play devil's advocate. Usually a lot of devil's advocate with Stephanie videos, uh, at one not. So criticizing the videos that I'm watching is going to be part of the wheelhouse. So I was like, I feel like this one felt weird compared to his other the disturbing horrors of insert location. It felt weird, like it was incomplete. I feel like this one might possibly even rushed. I don't want to say rushed. I feel like something's off here is all I'm going to say with this. It just felt weird. Yeah, oh well. Anyways, yeah, unfortunate as usual, like all these people who lost their lives and whatnot. This one, again, the guy still hasn't been um, sentenced yet. He's at least in jail. This one never caught him, etc., etc. Let's just go ahead and get the lighting back on in here. There we go. Yeah, that is going to be that's going to be it for today. I think. I don't think there's anything else I need to talk about. Let's like jump back over here, find everything so you can see the stairs there. I like this section here. It feels kind of realistic. It's pretty like a fancy theater. It's supposed to be a modern theater, but it has been a long time since I've been to a theater, so I don't know what they actually look like anymore. Not allowed to go over there. Yeah, that is going to be it for today. Probably will get around to the rest of the stuff. I think there's a New Mexico 2 video that came out. We still need Japan 2, Japan 3, Japan 4? Question mark if there's a 4 already. I don't know if there's anything else on the question channel that I haven't done. Probably is, right? I'll have to see if I want to go and do those. Stephanie has not uploaded in 3 weeks, so nothing really from her to react to. Rotten Mango probably has like an infinite amount of videos that I could try as well. I kind of want stuff that like would look, or like not look, but make sense in VR, right? Watching it on the big screen. Well, I make anything really works. Like I don't know if I want to do the Amazing Digital Circus. Like I've talked about it for like a year plus now at this point, saying I was going to do it. I've tried to watch it, and I'm just like, it just seems so stupid to try to react to it, so I stopped reacting to it. I made a second attempt to try to react to it, and I was like, and it just quit immediately again. So it's like, for some reason, I just cannot watch that because it's just nothing to talk about. Like, how do you react to a show? I mean, I was reacting to anime for a while back in the day until I had deleted them all because of copyright stuff, and I didn't want to deal with that. The effort you have to go through to try to react to copyrighted material is like not worth it. But for Digital Circus, it's like I just got nothing to say. Like I can talk about the 3D aspect of it as being someone who makes 3D models and whatnot. I can be like, okay, this looks nice. This doesn't look good. This is how they did this. This is how they did that. Like I tried to do it the first time I wanted to react to the show, but it's just like, I don't know. If like anything like that, I just can't react to. But if you have any suggestions on things to react for Reactions After Dark, more specifically stuff that's like drama or spooky or scary and stuff like that, right? Because it's called reactions after dark, right? So you expect it to be in that wheelhouse, question mark. Anyways, I think we can just go ahead and end now. So yeah, cuties. Thanks for watching. Remember to buy my stickers, think about becoming a member, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because we're going to watch time and subscribers. And don't forget we have a throne now as well. And shout out to the members, EmmyStarr, RaleyDrew, and alexgkiller 880. Hey cuties, thanks for watching. Tune into the next episode. Like, subscribe, hype, and comment. Know the do. See ya.